It's kind of follow up from a year ago when I had my meeting with you all. I'm going to try not to read off the sheet to go by memory, but there's a lot of important information here. I'll try to get it through as quick as possible. So I'm going to talk about PKA and PKCA. PKA, there's two acronyms here, PKA and PKCA. PKA is the Clark Kids After School Program. That's run at Mollyochet, and it is for Brownfield, Denmark. Let's do school districts here. It might be easier, but Brownfield Denmark School, Mollyochet School, and Cedars-Sinai. And the kids kind of come to Mollyochet for their after-school and summer programs. So when you hear those two terms, and then PKCA is Rocket Kids Charitable Association. That is the nonprofit that runs PKA or has the advisory board over PKA. So when you hear those terms, you know what they mean. Sometimes when I speak, I just rattle off those terms and people don't know what they are and they ask. So I want to give you a background. So I'll give you a little bit of a background on PKA before we talk about some things. So a little over 2 years ago, I saw a Facebook post from, I don't remember who it was, but it was from a concerned family member that PKA was going to be ending because there was no board and it was dissolved. So I emailed Emily Kirkpatrick from Mollyochet and kind of gave her my experience and was like, I've been writing grants for 20 plus years, healthcare, all this other stuff. So she put a meeting together and with concerned family members and community about the program being dissolved. And then those family members were like, yep, you're going to be the board president. So for the first year, I was the board president. In that time, we essentially we're trying to keep the doors open. We use board members, including myself, to volunteer our time to run the program with one other coordinator. I think we had 3 or 4 board members, including myself, that just was there every day to make sure the program was open for pretty much the first year. And then March-ish timeframe last year, a federal grant came across my desk, which was the 21st Century grant from the federal government through the Department of Education in Maine for $135,000 a year. I wrote the grant, submitted the grant, and we received the grant. And it started July 1st of 2025 when the actual grant started. So from then on, we've been kind of building up a little bit. I think that's when I spoke to you all, was around that time. I think it was middle of July. And I know a lot of community members had asked, like, is there ever an opportunity to expand into other areas? At that point, I was like, I don't know. Like, let's see how this goes. So what we've done is we've created the program, and we've grown, since the grant, we've grown from 25 kids to almost 80 registered students throughout all the districts that come to PKA. And as part of the 21st Century Grant, students, we have academic assistance, enrichment programs, social development, physical activities, and kind of a safe place for students to kind of get together. With the grant, we've been able to purchase outside contractors. We have hired tutors that are actually teachers from the school that kind of help the kids progress academically, because a big part of this grant is regular low performing students, so students that are not performing well in school. So the grant kind of not caters to them, but they come at pretty much no cost. So we're trying to focus on all the students, but those students are kind of what the grant focuses on, just kind of give you a background. And some of the successes that we've had is we just got our main teacher surveys. These surveys are given by the Department of Education to teachers at Mollyochet schools, so I have no control over any of these surveys that are delivered via email or snail mail or whatever. And for the first year, the questions are, how have your kids performed at PK? How have they performed in your classroom since starting PK? So it's directly related to PK. So 33 students, or approximately 54% out of the 61 that were surveyed, there's 70 to 80-ish kids, so we didn't get all of them back, which is expected, showed improvement in positive and appropriate classroom behavior,
Another 5 students were identified as not meeting improvements in the area. 38 students, or approximately 62%, showed improvement in their engagement in classroom learning and instruction. Another 6 students were identified as not meeting improvement. So these numbers to us are important because they demonstrate that it's not simply child care, it's a program that's supporting students academically, behaviorally, and socially, while also helping their families remain in the workforce so they can work and send their kids at a low cost to our program. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what kind of brings me here tonight. Our operating program size, it requires a substantial investment. We spent last fiscal year for a program this size, $173,000 is what we spent for in our books. $135,000 came from the grant itself. We had to fundraise and things of that nature to cover up the cost. We do have revenue from the parents that do pay, but it's decreasing over time because people are in financial hardship. So we offer scholarships. I try to fundraise to have them come for free. So my thought is I believe Brownfield, we have an opportunity to partner with us and bring this type of program to the Brownfield. My hope is the Brownfield Rec Department without requiring any additional funding from the taxpayers. Rather than the town carrying those expenses alone, PK use eligible grant funds and program revenue to help support it. This means this partnership could do more than simply avoid creating additional tax. We could, well, I'm saying 100% pay for some of so if the rec director used her time to run the program, we would pay for some of her salary. So it would actually decrease the tax burden on the town. The Brownfield Rec Department would remain an obviously important community resource. The town would remain involved in every decision affecting the children's families. PKA would bring the funding, the program infrastructure, grant administration, which is myself, reporting experience, staffing support, so on and so forth. We already have Brownfield students at PKA, and they currently participate in the program that we provide. I feel like expanding the program to the rec department would give the students and families access to the same quality enrichment activities, tutoring, academic support, and dependable after-school care in a much closer location. This would make the program more convenient for families, reduce transportation barriers, and allow Brownfield students to receive services directly within their community. Again, I'm not going to go over how many children we have and all that stuff, but I believe we can now take what we've learned and use it to support Brownfield's children and families with cooperation between the town, the rec department, PKCA, the school district, and the community. We can create a strong after-school program together with our funding. And obviously I'm not asking for the town to make a decision tonight. I'm asking for an opportunity to have the discussion, maybe have a workshop to kind of come up with a business plan if they're interested in doing so. And the last piece that I did have some questions that I wanted to address. Who will pay for food? PKCA would pay for the food. The intent is not to ask the school district or Brownfield taxpayers to absorb any of those costs. We would cover those costs. Who provides for transportation? I've already spoken with the school district. The school district has confirmed they will bus the kids from Brownfield, Denmark to the Brownfield Rec Department. That came from the superintendent. I met with him on Monday. And then there were some concerns about complaints about the coordinator. I'm just going to read what I wrote. I take every concern involving a child or staff member seriously. I will not discuss confidential personal matters and individual children or specific complaints in a public meeting. These matters must be addressed through the proper process, and confidentiality does not mean concerns are being ignored. I'd love to tell you all this stuff, but I can't legally. So I'm not going to talk about staff. I'm not going to talk about those concerns because I can't legally. How will I personally oversee the additional program? PK is no longer being operated solely by volunteer boards working directly. We have volunteers that are working directly with the program. We have program coordinators. Jim's here tonight. He is now pretty much my right-hand man here. He's helping me with my grants. He's helping me take care of PK at Malliaka when I can't be there, because my focus needs to be on staffing, budgeting, grant compliance, program quality, policies, partnerships, which I'm here right now, reporting, and resolving operational issues. Questions about how I'm physically present, it kind of just goes into that same thing. As my position has grown, my position is to find funding, it's to find qualified staff that can run a program without me there 24/7, which we have now. We have 3 great coordinators now four now with the summer program that can run the program effectively. I do come in, I've been there the past couple days for the first start of the summer program, but I do stop in as much as I can.